Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith, and today we are kicking off a brand new showcase here on the channel for Distilled, a spirited strategy game coming from Paverson Games. Really been looking forward to this one and its solo mode. We're going to go ahead inside of this video and show you exactly how to set the game up if you're playing the game solo. And then from there, we're going to dive into a playthrough to show you exactly how this game flows and operates to help you make an informed decision as to whether or not this game is for you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and set this game up, starting with the very first step. We'll start things off with the shelf board. We're going to place it on the table. It's going to hold the spirit labels and tracks rounds and spirit points. We're first going to go ahead and choose our player color. There are 5 choices. And out of those 5 choices, I'm going to select to use the green one. Next, we're going to get the round tracker in place. It is a brown barrel. We're going to place it on round number 1 at the top of the track on the right-hand side. Just like that, step number 1 is done. Step number 2 is all about the basic market. We're going to take that basic market board, lay it out, and then we're going to find all of the basic ingredients and item cards and place them into 7 face-up piles as shown on the board. The basic market has been set up, and it includes ingredients like yeast, water, mixed grains, mixed plants, mixed fruits, as well as a couple items. We have a clay barrel and a wood barrel. Let's now move into step number 3, where we're setting up the premium market. It's worth mentioning that this neoprene mat is not included inside of the box itself and was an add-on during the crowdfunding campaign, so you may or may not have this item, and if you don't, well, you're simply still organizing the cards in the same manner. If you happen to have the actual neoprene mat, it'll keep things even more organized and also gives a real nice visual to the whole appearance of the game. Now we find and shuffle 3 decks and place them on the left-hand side of this neoprene mat. At the very top, we have distillery upgrades. In the middle, we have the premium ingredient cards, and down below, the premium item cards. And now from the top of each of the 3 decks, we're going to take 4 cards and lay them across a row next to the deck. We have Cooper, Large Storage, Celebrity Promoter, and Coffee Still for the distillery upgrades to start things off. Within the premium ingredient row, we have barley, palm, millet, and corn. For the premium items, we have a frosted glass bottle, a faceted bottle, a ceramic bottle, and a dolium barrel. That wraps up step number 3 for the premium market. We now move to step 4 about the truck, which sits to the right-hand side of the premium market board. Throughout the game, as cards are discarded from the premium market, they're going to go onto the truck. Step number 5, we're going to focus on the flavor deck and the alcohol deck. The alcohol cards are all the same, so they just sit face up. The flavor cards are all face down, and you're going to shuffle them. Step number 6, we simply place out the recipe cubes. We have bronze, silver, and gold. Step number 7 is all about these tasting flights. There are 1 of each of these cards for each player, so there's a number of duplicates because, again, if you were giving these out in a multiplayer game, everyone would need to have 1. But you'll notice in the top right-hand corner, there is a small letter. This one is A, and if we flip this one over to the opposite side, we have B, and it continues through the cards all the way down onto the opposite side of this one here, which is H, and we can choose one of these right now. Now, the rulebook tells us that if we're starting our time off with Distilled, we should go with A. So that's what we're going to be setting up in this video. So with our tasting flight selected on the A side of the card, we've gone ahead and grabbed our spirit labels. As we head into step number 8, we now need to find all 7 of the spirits listed on the tasting flight. We're going to take them out of the storage tray, place them into the watermarked areas on the shelf board. You'll notice though there's 9 spaces. That's because vodka and moonshine are going to go there as well. There's a difference in the solo mode versus playing multiplayer. In the solo mode, you'll be using all the moonshine tokens and all the vodka tokens. And just like that, our spirit labels are all set up based on our tasting flight. On the shelf, we have labels for moonshine, vodka, kachaka, soju, gin, whiskey, rum, baijiu, and brandy. Step number 9 is all around the spirit awards. However, in the solo mode, they're not used. And there's actually a lot more than what I'm showing you visually here. That stack is probably about 2 to 3 times taller than what is here. But we are not using any of these spirit awards in the solo mode, so they're going back to the box. And another item which won't be used in the solo mode is distillery goals. These cards can also stay inside the box. And the 10th step is to make sure you have your money within easy reach. These are broken down to denominations of 1, 5, and 10. At this point, to wrap up the game setup, we need to do something specific for the solo mode setup, which is going to utilize these solo goal cards, which are specifically made for the solo mode. They're broken into A, B, and C decks. Now you're going to take all three of those decks, A, B, and C. You're going to shuffle each of them independently, and then you're going to go ahead and make this grid starting on the bottom row, which is row number 1, working all the way up to row 5. So you have 2 Cs, and then 3 Cs, 4 Bs, 3 Cs, and then 2 As. And you'll see it also even forms the look of a barrel itself. And then find the solo goal swap card and place it close by. Now take all the rest of the A cards you didn't use and the C cards you didn't use, place them back in the box. The B deck, though, you're going to keep it, shuffle it, keep it near the premium market. Now we're going to go ahead and flip over the cards in row 1, 3, and 5. So it's going to be the bottom row, middle row, and the very top row. And then we're going to set one of the extra scoring tokens beside the display. Rows 1, 3, and 5 have been revealed. Also, we have the other scoring marker placed nearby as well. And it's worth mentioning for those wondering about this grid that you'll be using during the solo mode. In order to win the solo game, you have to complete at least one goal from each of the 5 rows and meet or exceed the combined target score shown on the A and B goals that you've completed. I also want to give you a couple close-up shots of these solo goal cards so you can see them and be able to read them clearly. And the ones way at the very top as well. We've now finished the game setup. We're going to move to player setup. I'm going to take the money tray as well as the recipe cube tray. We're going to move both of those above the shelf board instead of below it. This will give me enough space to begin the player setup with the distillery board. Now, as I chose earlier, the green player token, which sits way up at the very top of the screen there, I went ahead and found the distillery board, which has green aesthetics throughout the illustrations, which are clear to see on this distillery board. The recipe clipboard goes next to the distillery board, and we're now going to place our tasting flight card there. Now we can move on to getting our starting items. Each player in the game, and of course in this case, being that I'm playing solo, I am going to get a glass bottle and a metal barrel. You'll know where these item cards are because they're listed as starting items in the box. And both of those starting items can be stacked and placed in the storeroom area of your distillery board. The next step is to pick our distiller identity, and because we're using the tasting flight A, it tells us that there are 12 distiller identities that we should choose from. So I've gone ahead and filtered out those identities. I've got them right here. Now I can select them. I can pick whichever one I want of these 12. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it completely at random without looking. I'm just going to shuffle these up, draw one out, and we'll go with it. And I ended up drawing the Brown Brothers. This card states during the sell phase, you're going to gain 2 spirit points. When selling a spirit from a region you have no other spirit labels from. When you flip the card over, you'll also get a little bit of backstory about these individuals, as well as their starting resources, their signature sugar, and down below, a signature recipe. Whatever distiller identity you end up selecting goes in the office slot of your distillery board. Now for a moment, we're going to flip this thing back over, take a look at the starting resources. We need to acquire this stuff. So first off, we're going to get ourselves 4 coins. We're also going to find 1 yeast and 1 water. The yeast and the water can be kept in the pantry on the distillery board. So I've got my 4 coins to start the game off right here. I've also got the first player marker, which is going to remain mine the entire game because I'm playing solo, so that doesn't matter all that much, and you can actually put it back in the box if you're going to be playing solo because you won't be needing it really, but I'll place it there because this one looks really nice. And then here we have this signature ingredient, which is specific, as you can see in the bottom right hand corner, to the Brown Brothers. So we found that, pulled it out, as well as their actual signature recipe, and that is a label, and it's going to go inside of the clipboard. That signature recipe label is going to sit in a nicely recessed area of the clipboard, keeping it in place for the entire game long. And also here, you're going to have that signature ingredient. This does not go into your pantry. This is going to stay out of play for now, off to the side. And that, my friends, is going to wrap up the how to set up video for Distilled from Paverson Games. I've been really looking forward to playing this one on the channel with you guys, and really hope you'll join me as we dig in and see what kind of spirits we can put together in order to try to be successful in the solo mode. And the last thing you might want to put into play nearby is going to be this card right here, a reference card for not only the sequence of a round, always nice to have this Always love to see these in games in general. And you got your end game scoring and an icon glossary, which will be handy, especially the first time you're going through Distilled. Keep that within easy reach. You can reference it when you need to. But that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below and any other thoughts you have on Distilled. Would love to hear from the solo community on this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, keep on rolling solo.